We're joined right now by retired U.S. Navy Captain Brad McDonald, serving 20 years on submarines. So you know a thing or two, and you know much more than we do. So please break down these banging sounds. We've heard that Canadian aircraft teams were detecting some consistent sounds about every 30 minutes in the search area. We have been told by experts that that's one way that these passengers could possibly get the attention of search crews to their location. But what do you make of this?
Well, there certainly are a lot of sounds in the ocean, but a metallic sound that would be made by banging a wrench or a pipe or something on another piece of metal will travel for miles and miles underwater. And in the old cat and mouse games that submarines play, that being the quietest submarine is usually the way to win the game. And you can have the quietest submarine in the world, but if a sailor drops a wrench in a bilge, that noise will travel for miles. And when you hear a metallic noise on sonar on a Navy submarine, you know that's not a fish, that's not an animal. You know that's most likely another submarine. So that when the Russian submarine Kursk sank in 2001, there were many crew members alive in the aftmost compartment, farthest away from the torpedo room where there was the explosion. And those crew members lived for several days on the oxygen that was in that compartment as it slowly filled with water. And they did bang routinely with a wrench, as you just said, every 30 minutes. And that was the way that rescuers knew there were people alive. They just couldn't get to them.
Well, that's a good example of something that we hope we can repeat here or see repeated here. Give us an understanding of what would be done for these search crews. I mean, we're talking 211 trillion square feet of water, 60 football fields length of water. You can't just have people rush into this area like they would if they were going into a house fire or saving people from a building that was collapsing. I mean, what can be done by the manpower that is arriving there with it being so deep?
I don't know a lot about this submersible, but I would suspect that it would have a pinger on it. And similar to if an aircraft goes down, the black box on the aircraft will, if it's underwater, it will start a pinger. And that's how search crews can find the location. So I would have thought it would have something like that. Short of that, you're trying to find a very small object. You know how long it took years and years to find Titanic, and this, of course, is much, much smaller. So a typical U.S. Navy submarine would have no capability to find this thing. I heard that suggested yesterday morning by a congressman who himself had served on submarines, that perhaps a Navy submarine should get in on the search. And I thought, well, it's not going to do any good because there's no capability. So finding it is one thing. The U.S. Navy did rescue half of the crew of a sunken submarine way back in 1939. USS Squalus sank a couple hundred miles off the coast of Maine. I'm sorry, not even that far, but it was only in 240 feet of water. And half of the crew perished as soon as the submarine sank, and due to the engine room flooding. The half that was in the forward compartment lived. And the Navy was able to use a very new rescue bell to save them. But we're talking 240 feet of water as opposed to 12,000 feet of water. So big difference.
Yes, major difference. Captain McDonald, thank you for being here on Morning in America.
Thanks.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.